Okay, everybody, I am absolutely thrilled today because I am joined by Gabriella Pizzolo, aka Susie, aka Susie Poo in Stranger Things season 4. We're going to be talking spoilers for season 4, volume 1. So make sure you watch that first and then come to this interview. How you doing today, Gabby?
Oh, I'm good. I'm glad you said spoilers because there's a whole bunch.
Oh yeah, so we got to like tiptoe here. So I'm really excited to talk about this season, how great you were in this season. But before we even get into that, I just want to talk about how your entrance in season 3 is one of the most iconic entrances for a character in any TV show. And showing the power of that, there's 70 million plays of your version of Never Ending Story on Spotify. So has that been overwhelming for you, the positive response? And are you also getting asked to sing that song a lot now?
Oh gosh. Every single time that I go to Comic-Cons a lot, and they're so fun. And I usually go with Gaten and we go like as a little pair. That's the first thing we get asked to do. We have to have it in the back of our minds at all times. Yeah, no, but it's been super fun. I love all the positive response. I feel like that song really like resurfaced, and I grew up an original fan of Neverending Story, so like that made me so happy. um yeah, I think that like honestly the positive response has been so amazing. And I feel like also like people came up with like wild theories, like I was a Russian, I was a spy at one point. Like I feel like it was not just positive response, it was like extreme theorizing, like extreme fixation on the one part, like, oh, she's got to be evil, there's got to be something else. And then you see like she's just a regular kid living in Utah and like she's a hacker. So I guess they were kind of right with like the hacking, but definitely not for Russian, espionage, just for her own sake.
I love you bring that up because you're so right. There's so many YouTube videos. Even if you search now, there's still theories coming out about Susie's behind it all. So
Yeah.
what do you say to the people though, that you also see people saying, oh, it's Susie's fault Hopper got captured? Like, do you see any of that angle, or you don't see that?
Um, I mean, I definitely could see it. I feel like the show is so big and so complex that like people find a way to like trace every single event back to like certain moments, and it's happened every single season. Like I remember Finn got it at one point, and like it just so happened that like I was one of the people that got it that season in season 3. And I honestly thought it was really funny. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, that actually could be true. And then it ended up not being true at all because the Duffers keep their storylines like so under wraps, for good reason, obviously. But as soon as I was like reading the scripts and everything for season 4, I was like, I hope she's not actually a spy, or those people were totally right. And I was like wrong to defend myself.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's a great answer too. And I like that you're aware of all the stuff people are saying about Susie. That's pretty cool. So was there ever any worry in your head when season 3 ended that Susie might just appear in season 3 and not be in season 4? Were you kind of given, some kind of encouragement that you're going to be back?
Yeah, well, actually, it was like when I first auditioned, I auditioned and it was like for a one-time appearance. And I was
Mm.
just like, okay, this is like incredible because I love this show. I love the people on it. I grew up with the kids in just the entertainment industry. And so I was like, okay, this could be a really fun, like one time, like chance to get to be on something so special to them with them. And then I started hearing, oh, she might come back. There might be more. And from that point on, once I started like actually filming season 4, I was thinking like, there's no way that this could have all started from just like a one-time appearance. They must have known, but they must have just not been saying anything, just so that way like nobody had any clue. Because the thing about the show is like the fans are usually clueless about what is next, but so are the actors. Like there's no way that I could have known any of the things that were going to happen in season 4 from the very beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, from a fan's perspective too, like it was a sigh of relief to see you appear in season 4. It's exciting because you had such an explosive entrance in season 3. So from an acting standpoint though, in season 3, whatever backstory you maybe gave Susie in your head, the character, and now we see in season 4, she has all these siblings, a strict father. Was it kind of similar to what you kind of imagined would be like her lifestyle?
I thought that she would definitely have a lot of siblings just because I was thinking a lot about like the 80s Mormon culture and everything. And I was like, she lives right in Salt Lake. She's got to have a nice, like, really ultra talented family if she's like singing and doing science and like going to summer camp for like becoming a female in STEM. And then I saw it and I was like, I love that they played it off in a comedic way, and it was like a huge heist because I couldn't have thought of something better to bring in all of those new characters from a new location. Because the thing about season 4, I mean, spoilers, but it's kind of obvious. You're in so many different places and focusing on so many different storylines, like bringing new people in with something memorable and fun and lighthearted is like the perfect way to do it, in my opinion.
So was it also, you're talking about all these storylines coming in the season 2, but also that you got to spend time now and work with the other cast because you were in a solo appearance last season. So how was that compared to your experience with season 3?
Oh, it was so fun. Mainly, I think the thing that like really was the most fun for me was like all of the improv work that we got to do, especially with Eduardo. He plays Argyle. All of the scenes that we did, he like completely improved a lot of his stuff that ended up making the final cut. And so we would all be playing off of him, and I think there's like one line that ended up being in the final cut too that is like, "You're being sarcastic," and I go, "Yeah." And that was never scripted. That just kind of happened because Finn was like, there was a long silence, and then he was like, "I'm gonna say something," and then he said something, and I was like, it was a lot of like playing off of each other, which I never got to have in season 3. And even at the beginning of season 4, when I'm talking with Dustin, it was just me and Gaten all along, and getting to do a scene with a bunch of different people straight from doing a scene with one person multiple times. Like, it was definitely shocking. And all of the like fun extra improv that we got to do was like so memorable.
Yeah, and you mentioned Gaten. I want to bring that up because is it a real challenge to play this powerful love Susie has for Dustin, but you guys actually haven't been in a scene together yet? This is long distance relationship. Is that challenging to kind of get into that?
Right, right. Yeah, I feel like all the fans are just waiting for them to meet in real life and like
Yeah.
and like see them in real life because they're supposed to have met like in summer camp, but I don't think that they've seen each other since then, in
Right.
my mind, which is wild. But I grew up with Gaten, and I grew up just knowing his family. So honestly, from being like 9-year-olds playing in the park together in New York City to like being like best friends slash like in a relationship, it's like not the hugest deal. And I honestly, I got a lot of tips and pointers from his girlfriend Lizzie.
Oh, nice.
Just like, yeah, like, and we were like playing off of each other and thinking about different funny things that that would be fun to do with him. Because then honestly, that all like improv with him was like so much more fun, knowing about like what it is like to like be in a relationship with him from his actual girlfriend.
Yeah, that's great. And that's cool that you put in that effort as an actress. That's actually awesome. And speaking of just your acting becoming Susie, have you found any of Gabriella in Susie, or is this a complete transformation for you?
I feel like honestly, there is a lot of Susie that is completely unique, in terms of like, I have never played a character that is as religious as Susie is, and there's a lot of like science and mathematical genius that goes into playing her. And I always loved science and math, and my dad loves computers. So honestly, it was more him being like, "Oh, like this is going to be so fun. You get to hack." Like, it's like a lot of the people that I was around were like super excited for me to get to do this. And it just made me even more excited. And I think that one of the things about Susie that I find in myself is like her versatility and love for many different things, because obviously she loves to work with computers and be with her family, but she also like loves to sing, and she has this secret relationship, and like people think she's so innocent, and she's honestly got this whole, you know, wild life going on. And I think that a lot of like that versatility of like loving so many things and trying to invest herself in so many different things is one of the things that I like to do too. So that is pretty similar, I would say.
Yeah, and I like how you go into how complicated of a character she really is with what you're saying. And one of the funniest lines of the season to me was Susie saying, "After changing Dusty's grade, I was racked with the most awful guilt." So that says a lot about Susie to me in a sense too. Like, is it in Susie's head? Is it always like a war between her love for Dustin, but her strict faith? Like, is she kind of also clashing those two things?
Yeah, yeah. I'd say that generally I'm also like very like I don't like to break the rules very often.
Mm.
I always grew up like if I did something I knew wasn't right, I would just have to confess like immediately. So, yeah, actually that's very similar too.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, yeah, and I think that like having two totally opposite things going on in her life for her, like absolutely juxtaposing each other, like is something that causes her a lot of guilt and sometimes just like a lot of confusion. And she's just a kid who's trying to deal with it, you know, at the end of
Yeah.
the day. And I think that like having that be a whole like comedic bit was like so fun to read, and then even more fun to act out, because you're acting so serious and adamant about like wanting to do the right thing, but you know that it's going to be something that people laugh at, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, and you do such a good job at it, and it's props to how good you are at comedic acting, which is very hard. So it's awesome you can do that. And I also thought it was interesting you shared a clip that was showing that first scene we see Susie where there's like a blue screen behind you when she's on the roof, and it seems like there's a fan blowing wind on you. Was that hard to act with? Had you act with blue screen before? Was that like a different kind of challenge?
Yeah, I actually had, and it was on Stranger Things,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's really crazy because like any of the exteriors of like my house were blue screen.
Oh,
And so anything outside my window or even like my glasses lens, like they had like dots, and then they would take out the lens and then like be like pretend like there's something there, but like there's going to be nothing there. And
wow.
they'll, like reflect what we end up putting on your computer onto your lens. It's like such attention to detail. It was like astonishing. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I would never even think of that. So that's really cool. And that must have been wild. And also, speaking of just great videos you also share on your Instagram, there was this great video of the crew giving you a nice surprise on your birthday for season 4. Can you kind of go into a little
Yeah.
more detail what exactly happened there?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I showed up for work that day, and it was my birthday, and people were like, "Oh, happy birthday," but they didn't say much. And I was like,
Mm.
we're just trying to get a lot of work done. That makes total sense. Um, and all of the cast was super nice, and they were doing fun stuff all day long just to make it not seem suspicious that nobody was doing anything crazy. Um, and then at the very end of the day, I saw our director Nimrod, and he's like the absolute greatest. And he's the one who ended up like figuring out with the ADs like the whole like getting me a cake, and they had like outdoor like games and stuff for people after we finished shooting. Um, and so he pulled Noah aside, Noah Schnapp, and he was like whispering, and I was like, something is weird. I don't think directors would do that like right in front of me. And so I was like, okay, something's up. And as soon as I walked outside, everyone was congregated, and I was like, oh gosh, oh gosh. And then it was like super sweet, and they sang and they got me a cake, and it was this whole fun festive thing. And so I played a few games, and then I like went back into like have more takes of me just like typing at a computer, like very viciously, like I was coding. And then they were like, okay, go play more games. Like, you're good.
I, I love that. Yeah, it's cool too because it sounds like it's so much fun filming season 4. And leading off of that, then having the big season 4 premiere. was that crazy now with everyone knowing your character when you're at this premiere? Like, was that surreal having this like wild fans just shouting your name and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely really fun to get to see the fans because they actually had some people who were allowed to go who were fans of the show. And it was so nice. We got to like take pictures with them and, just different selfies and fun things and talk to them for like a little bit. But at the other premiere for season 3, nobody was supposed to know that I really existed or that I was real and that I wasn't just like a figment of Dustin's imagination. So I think that it was very different from my season 3 premiere because most of the people in the cast knew me, but not a lot of the people other than that knew who I was or why I was there. They just thought I was a friend of a friend or something. And then this premiere, I got to like do a lot more in terms of seeing people and talking to people. And I think that it was very refreshing because it was like no secrets had to be kept except for what was already in the show. I didn't have to like have this like alternate identity where I was not in the show.
Right.
So yeah,
It must
it
have
was
sigh of relief. Yeah.
yes, for sure.
And Gabrielle, before I let you go, I have to ask, is that a picture of baby Dustin behind you that's hanging over your head?
Oh my gosh. I wish that would be really, really funny. This is my sister, Jillian.
Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely not Gaten. I do have a lot of pictures with Gaten when we were that age.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
that
just
would be
making sure
really
you
fun.
weren't method actor or anything. Maybe you're method, who knows?
Oh, no, not like that. Not like that.
I love that. Gabriella, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody, obviously keep watching Stranger Things Volume 1 of Season 4, and Volume 2 is coming out July 1st. I cannot wait. And just keep watching Gabriella crush it here at Susie. Gabriella, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to talk to you again in the future.
Of course. Thank you for having me.